The day's finally arrived. So probably about 20 minutes ago, there was an entire system on top of that bookcase. Its configuration had evolved over about 4 or 5 years, just by ear, trying different things. And it got to the point where I had to make a major move, and I wanted to fix my power cables. Power cables run in the back. That's one of those NG Audioquest sockets. And it's tight in the back there. And there were a few other things I wanted to make for the system. I don't know if you could see back there or not. But what I want to do is route the cables. So it's basically two systems, 2 amplifiers, 1 source, and 2 sets of speakers. And it sits on this custom homemade platform. I needed to extend it because the top of the bookcase wasn't wide enough. It was wide enough, but if I wanted cables to come out the back, I needed some space from the wall. So I just made it so that it would hang over this a little bit. A couple inches overhang. These speakers that you're looking at are the Infinity Kappa 600s. The 10-inch woofers are turned out. This is condo stereo. In condos, we don't do anything to encourage bass because our neighbors can very easily hear bass. But these things have 10-inch woofers, and these were actually designed for a European market. And I suspect, I don't know, I'm going to be switching amps around and I'm going to find out for sure, but I suspect that the crossovers are set up so that they don't generate a lot of bass. Not like an American speaker where it's probably going to be tuned to give you a lot of bass or more bass. Actually, these Bowers have, these little Bowers, the CM1S2s, actually have more bass output than these big Infinities do. So, and I would guess that these, they had America in mind when they designed these. I know it's a world speaker, but so that's the 2 sets of speakers. The 2 amps are the Marantz PM8006. That's this guy over here. And the other one is a Marantz HD-AMP-1, which is a Class D amp. That guy's over here. And originally, I had the HD-AMP-1 hooked up to the CM1S2s because I heard that these systems were developed together, that that amp was developed with these speakers, or somehow or another, there was some connection. So I just speculated and bought the amp, and I liked the way it sounded. I left it hooked up for a while. But the problem was the PM8006 was driving the heck out of these things. I mean, don't get me wrong, they sounded great. The dynamics, and the reason everything's high up is because when I sit and listen, I'm sitting on a higher, I sit up on, I guess the equivalent of like a bar stool type thing. That's kind of how my place is laid out. So I'm sitting up higher. I like to have the speakers up a little higher. And usually when the CM1S2s are up on top of the bookshelf, they're upside down. So the tweeters are pretty in line with my ear. All right, that's a system overview. I still have more tearing apart to do. I have to take all the books out of that bookcase. It is, every single square space of that inside of that bookcase is loaded with books. And I haven't been in here for a while since the power cords all hung down over the front and I couldn't get the doors open. So there's stuff I need, and that's kind of what started this whole thing. So I have to empty this out and slide it out, and I'm going to work from behind it, and I'm going to try to do something a little bit better than what I did here. I built these phone poles, or whatever you call them, to hold the power cords. The power cords are heavy, and I wanted them to just lay right into the sockets. So I learned that that's achievable, and I'm going to work from behind and build something nice and sturdy. So when I get the bookcase emptied out, I will make the next video.